Welcome to Mr. Marr's Lockdown History. Quick summaries about a range of different historical topics. Today we're going back to the time of the Atlantic slave trade, and we're looking at some of the people that were involved in campaigns against the slave trade itself. In 1807 the British government finally outlawed the slave trade, which was going to Africa and kidnapping Africans. However, it would be 1833 before Britain would outlaw slavery itself. Various people played a role in these two achievements. Arguably the most famous was a man called William Wilberforce. William Wilberforce was an MP, and he first became involved in the campaign due to his religious conversion into Christianity. As a result of this, he began to believe that slavery was wrong and played different roles. He was involved in setting up campaign groups which would work against the trade, and as an MP he was uniquely placed to give speeches in Parliament and also to regularly propose bills outlawing the trade, which he did for around 20 years. He was also able to speak to men such as the Prime Minister and try and influence them. Another key figure in the anti-slavery campaign was Thomas Clarkson. Like Wilberforce, Clarkson was drawn to the campaign due to his religious beliefs. He was also involved in setting up campaign groups and campaigned in a range of ways, but arguably Clarkson's most prominent role was that of providing evidence of the horrors of the trade. He went on a tour of British ports, speaking to many of the people that had been involved, and also collecting things such as manacles, shackles and thumb screws, which showed the true horrors of the trade. Another key person involved in campaigning against the trade was Olaudah Equiano. Equiano had himself been a slave, and so was well aware of the horrors of the trade and the life of a slave. He was involved in campaigning in different ways. He took part in public meetings where he would describe the horrors, and he also wrote a book describing his experience, all of which encouraged people to find out about the true terrors of the trade and encouraged them to be against it. He was also involved in setting up a campaign group called the Sons of Africa, which brought together other former slaves to speak against slavery. Some women were involved in the campaign as well, and one of these was Hannah More. Hannah More was a writer, and she had also become involved due to religious beliefs, and had met many of the people who were involved in the anti-slavery campaign. She played part in different things, including writing some of the materials against the trade, and one of her poems became particularly famous as an argument against the slave trade. The actions of these people, and many others, ultimately played a role in firstly ending the slave trade and then slavery itself in Britain.